first law of leadership is what I call the law of the lid. L-I-D. The law of the lid. And the law of the lid says that leadership determines the level of effectiveness. The law of the lid basically says that our leadership level determines our organization's level. That our leadership level determines our church's size. In other words, our leadership is a lid. And that lid keeps everything under it from going any higher. This is an incredible law. In fact, the reason I put it first is not because it's the most important law. Remember, all the laws stand alone. The reason I put it first is not because it's most important. I put it first because this is where I get the passion to learn to be a leader. This law gives me passion. And let me explain to you why. Here's the way this works. If this hand represents my ability to lead, and this hand represents my organization, my church, my business, my company, whatever. But this is how well John Maxwell leads. If this hand represents my leadership, this hand represents my organization. Here's what I know today about my church or my business. If this is how well I lead, my organization, my church, will always stay underneath the lid of my leadership. My leadership determines the size of my company. My leadership determines the size of my church. It's the lid. It keeps us from growing. It keeps us from reaching our potential. Our leadership lid is what we are today. Nothing more, nothing less. In the history of mankind, you have never seen an organization grow beyond the lid of the leadership that's in it. An organization doesn't keep growing and the leadership stays the same. Leadership determines the size of the organization. So if from a 1 to a 10, my leadership is a 4, then my church, my youth group, my company, whatever, if my leadership is a 4, then my congregation size-wise is a 3. And can I tell you something? If I'm a 4 as a leader, my church isn't going to be a 7 and an 8 and a 9. You don't have 4 leaders leading 7 organizations. Just doesn't happen. So you say, oh, John, now I see why you're so passionate about this. In other words, my leadership will determine the size of my organization. That's it. Now, here's the good news. What I love about the 21 laws of leadership